What does it mean when your car pulls to one side? So, your car pulling to one side is a sign that something in the vehicle is out of balance. Not like vibrating out of balance, but a completely different out of balance. It may start as a slight drift and gradually become a constant steering correction, even if the car still feels drivable. The symptom should be taken seriously because it can impact the steering control, braking stability, tire life, and safety. So, a healthy vehicle should track straight on level road with minimal steering input. And if you're repeatedly correcting left or right, your car needs a proper inspection. So, some of the things that can cause it is tire pressure imbalance, wheel alignment issues, brake system imbalance, tire wear or internal tire damage, steering and suspension wear, road crown mistaken for mechanical pull. So let's just dive into it. So uneven tire pressure. A lot of the vehicles have TPMS lights nowadays. I also have friends that their TPMS light has been on for a very long time because they don't want to spend the money to replace the batteries and the TPMS sensors or do a diagnostic on the tire pressure monitoring system light. So if that's the case, don't have your TPMS light on, because then when you have a low tire, you don't know you have a low tire until it's a problem. So you definitely don't want to do that, especially with gas prices right now. You definitely want to protect the lower the air pressure, the more resistance, and the more resistance is the more power it takes to move the vehicle. The more power it takes to move the vehicle, the more gas. Just saying. So you can have your wheel alignment being out of specifications. And what's funny is your steering wheel. Some people think that their steering wheel should be straight no matter what. Well, and it kind of should be straight no matter what. But when you put your steering wheel straight and it pulls to the right or the left, and you just a couple of centimeters or an inch either direction is, and it goes straight by itself without you holding the steering wheel straight, then get your steering wheel straightened. It's probably not causing a lot of problems other than the steering wheel being off center. So uneven tire wear patterns, pulling slowly, the pull slowly worsening over time. I mean, all kinds of different things, what can cause this would be, pothole impacts, curb strikes, worn front ends components, suspension or steering work without final alignment verification, all kinds of stuff. And then you can have a brake pull. But that's normally during braking. It doesn't always have to be, but normally that's when you're braking. And that can be due to sticking brake caliper, uneven pad contact, restricted brake hose, rotor friction imbalance, all kinds of stuff. Okay. And then, of course, you have tire wear patterns or internal tire damage. So a tire can look completely normal externally and still cause pulling due to irregular wear or internal structural problems. This one, it's called a radial tire pull, because back in the day we had nylon tires or all kinds of different compounds that we used in it instead of metal. So once they started putting metal into tires, they had to make it to where the metal wouldn't overheat inside of your tire. So it's a completely different construction, completely different. It's called a radial tire. And these radial tires, one of the natural phenomenons that could occur with them is they just could cause a pull. They look exactly like they're supposed to. They balance just exactly like they're supposed to. Yeah, you put them on a vehicle and they pull. They one way or the other, right or left, they pull. So what we used to do is just rotate the tires. And if the pull went away, we knew that one of the tires on the rear of the vehicle at that point was what was causing the radial tire pull. And then, of course, if the customer wanted to deal with it, they dealt with it. If they didn't, they didn't. We always recommend, obviously, replacing it because that signified internal tire damage. Whereas just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it's bad. Most people ended up buying the tires at that point, but again, not everybody. And you always wonder at that point, what's going to happen later. And then, of course, you can have steering and suspension component wear. You can have, your tie rod ends, your ball joints, your control arm bushings, your struts and shocks, your steering linkage components, all kinds of stuff. And then the road crown versus a mechanical pull. So most roads are slightly crowned for drainage. So minor drifts can happen, but a strong repeatable pull across multiple roads usually indicates a real mechanical issue. So what happens with your alignment is your right tire is pushed ahead of your left tire by a degree. Okay. So it's just barely, it's just barely in front. And what that does is that accounts for the slight road crown. Well, some, not freeways, but some roads, rural roads can be crowned way more aggressively. Okay, depending on the environment that you find yourself in. If there's a lot of rain, the higher the rain or snow or weird environmental issues, some counties, states will definitely get the road crown, the slant going from the middle of the road out for drainage to be at a higher degree. And the higher the degree, now you're going to get on that specific road and it's going to pool. But you get on a normal road, one without that high crown, and it doesn't pull. So that would signify that it's a road problem, not a mechanical problem. So just be totally aware of that. Okay. And then, of course, we're going to have to get it diagnosed. We're going to have to figure it out. Most of the time, depending on which one of these it is, it's pretty straightforward and simple. Most of the time we can find, lower ball joints or control arm bushings or whatever going on. No big deal. We've got ways of diagnosing each and every one of these, and we can definitely take care of your vehicle pulling one way or another. But if you find yourself going, why is my car pulling to the right? Why is my car pulling to the left? If, why is my car pulling, when I hit the brakes? Anything like that. And it's definitely time to bring it into the shop and get the trusted automotive repair place that you found and built a relationship with to take care of you. Stay safe, stay strong.